What's going on, you gamers? Today we're jumping into Hogwarts Legacy and we're going to be going over skills or your talents, how to unlock them, how many you get, and basically everything you need to know. So if that interests you, stay tuned, we'll be tackling that next. Welcome back everybody. Today we're back in Hogwarts Legacy and I must admit I am having an absolute blast with this game. Let me know in the comments how you're all getting on with it, but for myself I think this game is actually pretty exceptional. And whilst it's pretty good at guiding you through most situations, there are a few that you probably have to work out for yourself. One such one is definitely going to be about your talents. Now with your talents, you'd probably expect it to be tied to your level, so at some point you're going to reach a certain level, say 5, 10, 15, whatever it may be, and your talents will unlock. However, in Hogwarts Legacy, this isn't the case. Instead, what you're going to need to do will be to progress through the main storyline. You're going to go on a few mission chains, until the main mission that you're going to need to complete, which will be this one right here, and that's going to be Jackdaw's Rest. Now I don't want to spoil too much because the storyline in this game is amazing, but ultimately just remember, no matter what level you are, you will need to progress to this point and complete this mission in order to unlock your talents. At this stage for me, I was level 9, and I'd say that's probably around about the area most people will be. At this point, your connection to ancient magic will be unlocked and you will receive 1 talent point each time you increase your wizarding level. And as you can see there, you're going to have new talent points to spend as you go through your talents guide menu. Now not to worry if you've over leveled or you've been doing loads of side quests, because it's going to tally up everything you've earned from level 5 onwards. So as soon as you hit 5, you're going to get your first point. Like I said, this is well worth knowing, because if you've completely bypassed all of the storyline and you're just going around doing an absolute abundance of exploring and side quests and stuff, then your talents obviously will stay locked for some time. But there's definitely a few things that you should know about talents early on in order to make the most powerful and best build for your character. So you have 5 options for your talents. I tend to think of them as kind of skill trees. That's going to be your spells, your dark arts, your core, your stealth, and your room of requirement. You can invest your points at any time, however, as far as I'm aware, unless you get something very endgame, which I don't believe you do, there's no way to actually reset these talents, so definitely make sure you know what you're doing or save beforehand, because I believe these are set in stone. Also, another massive thing, no matter what, on one playthrough, you will not be able to unlock all of your talent points. So if you have a little look here, adding all of these up, there are 48 talents currently in place in the game. This is great as it gives you a lot of variety, it gives you your own playstyle, and it means you'll be able to customise your character to exactly how you like. Also means on the flip side of that, which is a bit of a pain, that you will not be able to obtain all of these in one game. So you would have to start a new game if you want to try a few of the ones you've missed off. Now obviously you will be adventuring, you're going to be going through your journey and there'll be lots of stuff to do in this game, but the max level is still 40, meaning you'll only be able to unlock 36 of the 48 talents. So 12 of these will be unobtainable for you. Also, there's no New Game Plus, so for each character you will only be able to obtain the 36 that you set in stone. Now in a separate video I'll go over and cover every single talent because it would make this video a little bit on the long side, but if I quickly jump into each, we'll cover exactly what they do. So jumping into the spell talents, in my eyes, these are something that you will 100% want to invest in, especially if there's spells that you like in particular, because it's going to enhance their function. In fact, as I went through these, I noticed that there's kind of a pattern, as most times it means the spells are going to become a little bit more powerful, but it looks like they're trying to add a bit of AoE to their functionality. So rather than them being single target, they're going to do some kind of AoE, or some extra damage to several targets. Perfect example of that would be a close range spell such as Incendio Mastery. This means when you cast Incendio, it's gonna unleash a ring of flames around you now. Or if you're trying to gather a lot of enemies together in order for a follow-up attack, then Accio Mastery means that enemies near a target summoned by Accio are going to be pulled towards you as well. Or one of my personal favourites is probably going to be Confringo Mastery. This one is absolutely amazing, as it shows you that Confringo impacts produce fiery bolts that seek out enemy targets. This one sounds like it'd be a great one to use, because it looks like it definitely might have a bit of range on it. Jumping over to the very top one, which I think will probably be one of the most powerful in the game, is going to be your Transformation Mastery. Enemies struck with the transformation spell transform into explosive objects. Obviously you'll be able to follow this up, pick them up and chuck them at one of your enemies, eliminating two birds with one stone. Jumping over to the dark arts, and if you want to be looking at the naughtier side of magic, cursing your enemies and inflicting as much pain as humanly possible, then these are going to be the talents you'll want to have a look at. And this tree, looking at a glance, probably has some of the most broken talents in the game that are going to allow for some crazy damage as well as survivability. All the way from its stunning curse, which means stupefy, now affects as a curse on enemies, and cursed enemies will take additional damage. This will make your stupefy pretty insane. And of course blood curse, when you deal damage to a cursed target, it's going to inflict damage to all of those cursed targets. So again, bringing that multi-target into play. However, jumping all the way to the very top, two to look out for is going to be Avada Kedavra, which hopefully I haven't butchered the name. Killing an enemy with Avada Kedavra kills all of your cursed enemies. This, I would imagine, has to have some kind of a longer cooldown, because otherwise you'll be able to absolutely massacre your foes with this Dark's archery. But whatever way you look at it, this is going to be one of the most powerful spells in the game. Hand in hand with that, Cursed Sapper, defeating a cursed enemy restores some of your health. Like I said, this skill tree looks like it's going to be a little bit on the overpowered side, but it will be a lot of fun to play, and expect to see a lot of people turn into the dark art side in Hogwarts Legacy. Going over to your core, and these are going to be the talents you want to invest in if you're trying to upgrade your characters as a whole. For example, getting better at dodging, being able to heal better, and probably one of the most important ones is going to be this one right here, your spell knowledge. Every time you get a new one of these, it means that you're going to be able to add a new spell set to your character, enabling you to put 4 more spells on your bar. You will have to cycle through these, but as you progress through the game, if you really wanted to, you could have all the way up to 4 different spell sets, each containing 4 spells. So 16 to alternate between, which is going to give you a lot of options. I would say probably get this one as soon as you can, because being able to have 2 spell sets would be ideal, one for combat and one for utility. You also have talents that can help with your wig and world heals, as well as, like I said, being able to dodge better with things like Swift. Up at the very top, being unlocked at level 22 onwards, you're going to have Protego Mastery, where Perfect Protego releases a damaging blast that breaks enemy shields. As well as one that I think most people will probably want, and that's going to be Stupefy Expertise. Stupefy now deals direct damage on impact. So overall, core is something you're definitely going to want to invest some talent points in, because it's going to bring a lot of functionality to your character and making them better to play overall. Jumping over to the stealth tree, and going to be for people who like to be, as it suggests, quite stealthy or sneaky. If you want to get around without being noticed, then this is going to be the one for you. Starting off quite basic, the first one's sense of secrecy, enemies' ability to detect you is going to be reduced. And Human Demiguise allows you to sprint whilst using Disillusionment. However, if we jump up to the level 22 unlock, Petrificus Totalus Mastery, this now emanates an area of effect that can impact nearby enemies. Looking at the video, this actually looks pretty cool. It means that you're going to be able to jump into stealth and petrify whole groups of enemies without them even knowing what's happened. So yeah, definitely one to keep in mind, although I think a lot of people will probably neglect this skill tree a bit, because like I said, you won't be able to unlock everything on your first playthrough. Jumping over to the last one, and we have Room of Requirement. This is going to be my top pick for the most underrated talent tree in the game. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but ultimately I think this one's going to be a bit of a hidden gem. Even the very first one, as you see here, Edorus Potion Potency, this now makes you invulnerable and deflects projectile attacks back at your enemies. That is pretty insane for an unlock you can grab straight away. Obviously the main thing to remember with this, it will be a bit harder work because it's all around potions, so you probably will have to go out, gather a lot of items, maybe spend a bit of money and get some resources, but ultimately I think this tree will be pretty exceptional. Jumping over to Fertilizer, for each Chinese chomping cabbage thrown, a second chomping cabbage is generated and released at no cost. Room of Requirement is also great for anyone who's probably used to playing a bit of a minion master, as it looks like you'll be able to kind of summon allies that fight beside you. However, there's a few unlocks on here that I think are also a little bit on the broken side again. Maxima Potion Potency. Maxima Potions cause attacks to have additional increased damage and break enemy shields. This means now you can just spam away, as you're going to be able to tackle pretty much anyone after drinking this potion. Jumping up to the top unlocks, and we have Thunder Brew Potency. This is going to be great for anyone who wants to do a lot of AoE, as it's going to be calling down lightning at certain intervals in a wide range, damaging your enemies as it hits them. and the one that I'm most looking forward to seeing what it does, and that's going to be the Focus Potion Potency. The duration of the Focus Potion's effect will be extended when any spell from the spell set is cast during its use. Looking at this video, the guy is absolutely spamming his spells. Obviously you'll be able to put any 4 that you want on your spell set. This I think will probably be the most powerful talent to unlock in the game. It will work hand in hand with pretty much any build, and it will allow you to almost nullify the cooldowns on all of your spell set. Also, Noxious, if you want to grab yourself a little buddy, that's going to knock off shields, so you'll be able to attack without having to worry about negating them, and this is going to be another great talent to invest in. Right, hopefully I haven't taken too long. I'm sure that took a lot longer than I intended, but now you should have a firm grasp on your talents, know roughly what kind of path you're going with your character, and hopefully you've got in mind some of the ones you want to unlock. As always, for all the latest gaming, take care. I'll see you on the next day.